It's time for another video, and I'm going to be doing something a bit light, excuse the pun, but this is going to be on light.gg. The link is in the description if you want to have a look at weapon rolls yourself. It is always a very handy tool to use, but I'm going to be looking into the weapons from Crota's End, because I want to know what kind of rolls I should be after when I actually craft them. But in order to do that, I kind of want to know what the origin perk does, which is called Cursed Thrall, and basically, after killing a target with a melee attack, final blows with this weapon cause targets to explode for a short duration. Now that sounds extremely good for a certain subclass that I like to use quite a bit, known as Arc Hunter. So, without further ado, I'm actually going to go over the shotgun first, because this is literally pairing with the shotgun so well that I don't think I would want it on any other kind of weapon. And when you look at that in the perk playground, there is the 1-2 punch. So this is already an ideal shotgun for the Arc Hunter, because 1-2 punch is very good for the build. Not only that, I actually see a little bit of potential here to expand it out a bit, because there is Demolition that rolls with this as well. So with Demolitionist, if you get kills with shotguns, you get 20% grenade energy, which is going to be very handy for the extra bits of damage that you want to do to ads around you. So not only are you going to be punching everything like a madman, you'll also have a shotgun that will cause targets to explode as well. And then on top of that, you'll have a lot of grenade energy to waste out as well. So ad control is going to be your thing. The next one I'm going to look at is a bit Defiant, which is an interesting auto rifle. It's 32 magazine, 33 damage, and the RPM is 360, which isn't the quickest auto rifle in the world, but it is still fairly good to use. But with the actual perk combinations you can get on this, it can be absolute madness. So first of all, you can get Reconstruction, which effectively turns that magazine to a 64, and it gives you basically a passive reload, which is always fantastic for an auto rifle. This also rolls with Incandescent, which is a highly sought after perk for any kind of solo weapon, which is brilliant for an auto rifle. However, for my role in particular, I'm not going to go with this. I want to go for the new perk called Sword Logic. And the reason I want to do this is because of the combination that you can proc off with this. So if you get a final blow with this weapon, it will grant bonus damage, and you'll get an even bigger boost to the damage if you kill a powerful target. However, what I'm getting at is, if you do Cursed Thrall, so you kill something with a melee attack first, you're going to be causing explosions with this weapon anyway, so having Sword Logic on as an amplifier for the damage is going to make this even deadlier. The next weapon I'm going over is Fang of Ir Yut, and this is a Strand Scout Rifle with pretty much decent RPM with 260 and 18 rounds in the magazine, which is fairly good for a scout rifle. But because this is a scout rifle, you probably won't capitalize on the Cursed Thrall perk that much. So whilst it is there and you can't really remove it, I'm not going to utilize it and actually going to focus on the perk pool instead. And the combination of perks that I might opt for this scout rifle is going to be Sword Logic, because it just gives you a better damage boost. But then I'm also going to go with Rewind rounds, because Rewind rounds for me is going to be really handy for anything that's long range. It means I don't have to reload as much, so when I'm doing harder activities, I just have more ammo to use. I really would have liked to see it in a perk that can actually amplify the damage a bit more, but it doesn't seem that that's going to be the case. If that keep away is actually Frenzy, then it would be Frenzy instead, but unfortunately, we do not have that as a role. Next weapon on the list is a Void Hand Cannon known as Word of Crota, and this one is quite interesting, 180 RPM with a 10 magazine. So it is a fast-firing hand cannon and not going to be as much damage as other hand cannons. However, its perk pool is extremely interesting, because not only does it roll with things like Frenzy, Sword Logic, and Rampage, it also comes with destabilizing rounds, which is ideal for void weapons, because it's going to make other enemies volatile when they're in range. And not only that, you can have even more bang for your buck, because you can also roll Dragonfly on this hand cannon, so not only will you get the initial void explosion, any further kills that you get with that weapon will also apply volatile, which will then make them explode as well, making this a very powerful hand cannon for PvE. Now then, something I am really looking forward to getting, Oversoul Edict. This is an arc energy pulse rifle. So if I use this, I am basically going to be allowed to use Witherhoard and a really high fire rate pulse rifle at the same time, because the RPM for this is 540, which pretty much matches the Peace of Mind, which I always use anyway. And because I'm in medium range, there is a chance that I will actually proc Cursed Thrall if I get a melee kill, so that's always a nice bonus, but it's not going to be something I'm going to really want from it. But this actually rolls with Volt Shot. So Volt Shot, if I want a PvE roll, is basically where I'm going to be going with this. If I wanted to go for PvP kind of rolls, I might look at Sword Logic instead, but honestly, both of them are very nice to have regardless. Then this also rolls with Demolitionist, so that is pretty much a no-brainer. Go for Demolitionist, maybe Sword Logic or Volt Shot, depending on if it's PvE or PvP. But Demolitionist is going to be brilliant regardless, because you'll get 10% of your grenade energy back every time you get a kill. And when you've got the likes of Volt Shot proccing off, or maybe even the Cursed Thrall origin trait, it is going to get you a lot of kills very quickly. Now the final weapon of the bunch, Song of Ir Yut, which is a machine gun, is an arc type. So this is going to be a really interesting machine gun, 450 RPM, 57 as a base magazine. Probably going to be quite a bit of a hard hitter, but not the best machine gun I've seen. However, the perks that come with it do seem very interesting. And the reason I say that is because it's very varied on what you want to use this for. If you want to go for something that's pure DPS, there's Target Lock, which is ideal for DPS. But if you want this to be an ad buster, then you have Vault Shot, which is very good to be utilized. And in the same vein, there is also Sword Logic on this as well, so you can get even more damage when you're getting kills with a machine gun, again, being an ad buster kind of build. And in a really weird twist of fate, there's also bait and switch on this, so if you pop a Wither Horde on something and then nail it with this, you'll have increased damage on that as well. In the third row, however, I think it's going to be no more surprise, Reconstruction all day, every day. I would much rather like to have 104 in the magazine when it's a machine gun, because it is just going to blitz everything. Although, for an interesting side note, if you don't want to run Reconstruction, there is also Demolitionist on this as well, so if you pair that with Vault Shot, I imagine you'll get a lot of grenade energy very quickly. That is pretty much the weapons from the raid. Idolent Ally is actually something for the Necrochasm quest, so there's no point in me discussing that because you can't get any different rolls on it. It is literally curated rolls for both of them. So hopefully I'm going to grind those weapons out very quickly, because at the very least I want Swordbreaker, I want Oversoul Edict, and I also want Song of Ir Yut. Like, those are the main ones at the top of my list. But of course, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What are your favourite rolls for these weapons, and which one is your favourite that you want to go for? But as always, remember to leave a like and subscribe down below, and I shall see you all in the next video.